Hello everyone, this is Illuminating Dots. So I'll be showing how to do factorization easily and hence increasing speed while doing it. So the method we will be using today is called the splitting the middle term method. Now before starting, if you find this content useful and enjoy learning maths using my skills and logic interesting, then please consider subscribing my channel and do leave a like. Let's begin. Now for factorization, there are a total of three methods: the splitting the middle term method, the quadratic formula, and the completing the square method. Now the last two are in standard 10th, and you are studying splitting the middle term method since standard 8th or in standard 8th. So let's just start with the basics. Now what is and how to do splitting the middle term method. In this method, what you do is you just split the middle term, as the name suggests. You split the middle term in a way which I'll teach you afterwards, in a way which when factorized gives two factors. Since it is a quadratic polynomial, it gives two factors. So those two factors are the factors of the quadratic polynomial given. So how do we start? So first we multiply the coefficient of x square, that is 1 in this case. Since it is not written, we will consider it 1, and the constant, which is the number without any variable. So what we do is we just multiply them. So 1 into minus 8, we get minus 8. Now next thing, we take the middle term, which is equals to minus 2. Now keep in mind to write the negative and positive signs with the numbers. If you miss them, you are probable to lose your focus somewhere in the exam and maybe get the answer wrong. But if you have much of practice, then it's no harm for you. You can just solve it in your mind, and it will be very easy. If you do about 50 to 60 sums, and that's a lot, but still, if you do that for practice, you will solve any question in your mind, any factorization question. So here the product comes to minus 8 and the middle term is minus 2. So what we do now is we take the product and we write the factors. Now how do we write the factors? We write the factors such as they are multiplied. So we simply write the pairs of factors. So 1 into 8 equals 8, then 2 into 4 equals 8, 4 into 2 equals 8, and 8 into 1 equals 8. So these are the four factors of 8. Now the next thing we do is we find a pair which when added or subtracted gives the value equal to the middle term, which is the coefficient of x. Now how do we do that? If 8 and 1 are added or subtracted, it never gives 2 or minus 2 for that case. When 2 and 4 are added or subtracted, when they are subtracted, we get 2. Now the point is, how do we get minus 2? So before writing that, you just write what you got. So x square, you do not write this with the sign, and minus 8 equals 0. Now since you know this is the pair we require, so you write that pair only, and it could be any way round. You can write 4x and 2x afterwards, so it does not cause any trouble or it does not get your sum wrong. It's just use such numbers which are divisible more easily. So 4 and 8 are divisible more easily. If I write 2 here, then 2 will be 1 and 8 will be 2 fours. So that's the same thing, but just I prefer to use the numbers which are easily divisible at the lower cases first. So Yeah, that's just my mindset. I use it that ways and I feel it very easy to solve it. Then you can choose any way, it's your choice. Now enough of my blabbering. Now the next part, when you write this barrier, you have to find which one will be positive and negative. Since this is subtracted, now another hint you can get is by looking at the constant sign. So since this has a negative sign, you have to compulsorily use subtraction for the middle term. Now you cannot add these both numbers, so if you add, your sum will be wrong 100% sure. So since this is negative, you have to subtract it. Now how do you subtract it? Since the middle term has negative of 2, so what we do is we take the greater number as negative, so minus 4, and since that is minus, we write plus 2 here. Now if at all we wrote minus 2x minus 4x, then what would happen here is, okay, let me just solve that part, then it will be more clear to you. Now you factorize it. How do you factorize? You take the common multiple outside from the two multiples only, from the two terms only, sorry. So from the first two terms here, the common factor is x. We take that out. If we remove x from x square, we are left with x, and x from 2x, we are left with 2. Now next thing, we have minus 4x and minus 8. So for minus 4x and minus 8, you can remove either 4 or minus 4. Now here's the trick, or here's the catch, you can say. If you remove just 4 out, then you are left with minus x minus 2. Now here your sum goes totally wrong. Why is it so? Because see, we are expected to write the number in the first bracket and the second bracket to be equal. If they are not equal at all, then your sum will not proceed ahead. You will be stuck at that place. So why you will be stuck? See, okay, so if I solve it correctly, I take minus 4 outside, so we have x plus 2, because my negative signs are removed, so it became plus, equals 0. Now is the fun thing, you have to take common these two also. So that is why you have to take these two brackets equal. If at all any of the signs inside the bracket changes, your whole sum gets worse there. So you take these both brackets once, because they are repeating, they are common, and the numbers left and in the another bracket, so x minus 4. So this is equals to 2. Now, as I had said earlier, if at all you would have written minus 2x and minus 4x, then at that time you would be left with x minus 2 in one bracket, and you will be left with x plus 2 in one bracket. So since they are not equal, so our sum would be wrong at that time, and hence you would get no marks naturally. So that's why just keep in mind this few things, never forget about it, because it's very important. Now in a lot of questions, they also ask you to find the value of x. So at that time, what you do is you just take the brackets once at a time. So x plus 2 equals 0. Now how do we get this equal to 0? Since here it is equal to 0, because these two are multiplied, and since they are multiplied, naturally one of them either should be equal to 0 Now we do not know which is equal to 0, so we take both the brackets as equal to 0. That's the only thing. It's no logic or so, but means it's just simple things. You don't have to worry much about it. You don't have to think about it. Sorry. Now this is one bracket and x minus 4 equals 0, so x is equals to 4, so this is the only thing. Now yeah, so splitting the middle term over, understood? Okay, so let's try another sum. You will get your concepts clear. Now here we can and cannot use splitting the middle term method. So since it does not have any coefficient of middle term, that is coefficient of x or t in this case, and we write it this way. So since it is square and minus, now what we do to this 15, we write it as root 15 square equals 0. Now why did I write 15 to root 15 square? So there's a exponential formula. So if a root number, suppose x, is squared, it will be equal to a only. Now if you want to prove this, I can prove this to you. So root square root is equals to raised to 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 and raised to 2. Okay, so this equals to a 1 by 2 into 2, so this 2 gets cancelled, so we are left with a. So this was it. And how I multiplied this, if a raised to m is whole raised to n, then a raised to m into n. We write it this way. So these are basic exponential formulas you will learn in standard 8th and 9th. If you are in standard 8th, then don't worry, it will be clear to you in the next standard. And if you are in 9th and 10th standard, this is a kind of sum you have solved a while ago, I can say, if you started just now. So yeah, these exponential formulas are nothing but waste of time, you can say. Now okay, so don't get it seriously. It's not just a waste of time. They are very important formulas. You have to remember those. I just said it in the flow of the question. Don't take it seriously, otherwise you will blame me for saying like this. So sorry for that. I will not cut that part, but still I am extremely sorry. They are very, very, very important questions and formulas. In 7th standard you have learnt about those, and do not skip that in 8th or 9th or 10th standard. You have to remember those forever. So sorry for that. Don't take it seriously. And so okay, so here we got this. Now this is a formula for another exponential formula, yeah, for a square minus b square. What is a square minus b square? A plus b and a minus b. So we got this here. Now so what we do is we do the same thing which we got there, t minus root 15 and t plus root 15 is equals to 0. So another important thing, when can you use this? When you have a negative sign with the constant. If you have a positive sign, you can do this, but the catch is it won't be this straight question. It will be a little twisted question for sure, and I can guarantee you that. So you can use this, but when there is a negative sign of constant given with it. Another thing, so what you got the two factors, and when multiplied is equal to 0. So t minus root 15 is equals to 0. So therefore t is equals to root 15, and t plus root 15 is equals to 0. Therefore t is equals to minus root 15. So this is it. We got the questions. We got the values of t. Now there is another kind of question which is not for standard 8th and 9th, but it's useful if you just understand it once. So the question is root 2x square plus 7x plus 5 root 2 is equals to 0. So we have roots in here, but don't worry, they won't cause a much trouble. So okay, for this you multiply constant of x square and coefficient of x square and constant, so root 2 into 5 root 2, this equals to 5 into 10, 5 into 2, which is equals to 10. How I got that? Because root 2 into root 2 is equals to 2 and 5 into, so we got 10 here. And next thing, the middle term is plus 7. So we write the factors of 10, but okay, so before writing we will just prime factorize 10, so we get 2 5 5 1. Okay, so the most easy way of solving this is just take plus 2x and plus 5x, and that's the only way present for us. So I thought it could be done in another way, because if there is root, I thought of taking this with a root question, but it splits easily, so why to go the hard way? So root 2x square plus 2x plus 2x plus 5x plus 5 root 2 is equals to 0. Now we factorize these brackets, we take the common. So in root 2x and plus 2x we have common something called x. Also we have root 2 common. How we got this? Because 2 is equals to root 2 into root 2, so that's why we got root 2 common here. Now root 2x, so the bracket comes here and we are left with x plus root 2. Since from 2 root 2 is removed, so root 2 is left, and from the next bracket plus 5x and plus 5 root 2. So we just remove 5 from here, so we are left with x plus root 2. So that's it. Now another thing, we take the brackets common, so x plus root 2 and root 2x plus 5, so this is equals to 0. Now for finding the values of x, we take them equal to 0, so x plus root 2 is equals to 0, therefore x is equals to minus root 2, and root 2x plus 5 is equals to 0, therefore x is equals to minus 5 upon root 2. I don't need to tell you how I got minus 5 upon root 2 directly. I just used a shortcut. You can also use this. No need to worry about anything. So yeah, this was it. And splitting the middle term method is very easy, though it just takes a few tries and errors and nothing much to do about them. You can just practice few sums from R.D. Sharma if you want, and it's better if you solve it from R.D. Sharma, because you will get your concepts clear about all the types of questions. And mostly this root questions, the splitting of middle term of root questions are mostly asked for 9th and 10th standard, so 8th standard students need not worry about those questions. Now next thing, if you have any doubt, you can comment below, or you can also mail me. I have given my mail in my description, so you can check it out there. And yeah, you can also comment if I should solve RD Sharma for splitting the middle term method. If I get a few more comments about it, I will make sure to solve about 5 to 6 sums from RD Sharma, the hardest ones and the ones most frequently asked in exams which are asked. What the English is this? Okay, sorry. So yeah, that's it, and yeah, thanks for watching.